What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I'm gonna tell y'all why a lot of these shorties in Chicago crashing out the way they are, right? I'm not breaking any news when I say this. A lot of people already know this, man. A lot of these shorties in Chicago are high out of their mind. They off all type of drugs. They drug addicts. They are fiends walking around literal zombies. They off all these pills, all of that. Being on the red line, bro, they got people selling pills all up and through the red line and people buying pills from people that they don't even know. You don't know what these pills laced with, none of that. They just buying pills like crazy. That's why if you step on their shoe, they ready to crash out in Chicago. And this is coming from a person. I'm born and raised on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. I only left Chicago when I went to college at Mississippi Valley State University for 4 years, graduated from my HBCU. Then I went to Arkansas State right after that and got my master's degree in 2 years. But then I came right back to Chicago because my daughter was here, right? Me growing up in this city, you see all type of shorties, right? You see shorties raised in good homes and good environments that want to just emulate what they hear in the music, emulate what they think, the girls are like, emulate whatever they think the girls will gravitate to them based upon if they wilding out in the streets, they build a reputation, they think the girls might like them. Because being truthful, when we were in high school, a lot of the young girls like tough ass little dudes or fake tough whatever, and dudes were willing to crash out in order to gain a reputation that would garner them attention from girls and garner them respect in the street, right? Then I saw kids who came from, and this is what's really what I'm seeing now, why these shorties crashing out now. A lot of their mamas and daddies know what they doing. And they ignorant asses is okay with it. I'm calling them ignorant, yes, as a father of 2 children, okay? I got a 3-year-old son, my son about to be 4. I got a 13-year-old daughter. I'm 31 years old. There is no way I'm going to actively see my child engaging in self-destruction and be bragging about it, acting like it's cool. Y'all see these interviews, man. All these rapping ass dudes talking about they mom and them know they got guns and they mom and them telling them keep their gun on them and silly ass shit like that. Like making it seem like it's cool. I don't know if these shorties lying or not, but I would believe that a lot of them are telling the truth. Talking about they mamas and daddies know they got guns. They mama and them know they got guns when they come in the crib. All type of just goofy stuff. Like, why? Like, come on, fam. Like, it's no way. My mom telling y'all, man, the way I was raised, like, let my daddy, my mom, and them, my father, he wasn't in the house with me, but my father was with me every step of the way. Talking about, like, I was going to his house all the time, not just on weekends, throughout the week, staying with him, all of that. My daddy would slap the shit out of me. He seen me acting wild, acting crazy in the street. And I knew it. My mama, like, I was scared of my mama, too. That's another thing. A lot of these boys ain't scared of their mama at all. They have no regard for their mama's voice. They have no regard for their mother's instruction. They have no regard for embarrassing their mother, embarrassing their family, none of that. My mama wasn't nothing to play with, and everybody knew it. In my neighborhoods where I lived at, and I didn't live on 48th in Indiana. I didn't live on 65th and Low Terrace. I didn't live in 65th in Minerva, 6519 South Minerva as a shorty. I didn't live right off 87 in Cottage, right? I didn't live right off 88th in Langley. I didn't live on 86 in Euclid, right by CVS High School. My people, my mama and them, like everybody in the neighborhoods where we used to live at knew my mama wasn't nothing to play with. I wasn't going to play with that woman. I was scared to play with her. I was scared to play with my father like that. My father, an old school gentleman, James Evans type black man. We ain't doing that. I'm not raising no little gangbangers. No little thugs. My mama and them said the same thing. That's the reason why I couldn't even grow my hair in braids as a shorty, because my mama didn't want me looking like the rest of the other young boys in the neighborhood that the police would pick us all out if something go down, right? You know what I mean? But now you see these kids, they mamas and daddies be cool with them being sent out, like just being crash outs. They mamas bragging on it. They daddies and them bragging on it. He laughing at it. Man, my son wasn't nothing to play with in these streets. My son went, yeah, did you see where they got your son? In jail or unfortunately in a casket early. I'm not saying everybody that passes away, like they all just was crashing. Sometimes crazy things happen and all of that. I'm talking specifically to the kids who are out here crashing out crazily. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Shorties out here breaking in folks' cars out here outside. Like, and then your shorty and your kid get popped. Now you want to act like you don't know what happened. He was such a good kid. You know your kid was terrorizing the neighborhood. And you let him be out here terrorizing the neighborhood instead of getting a hold to him. I know dead. Like, these young shorties out here, this is why they crashing out. They heard their daddy's reputation in the streets. Their daddies was gang bangers, gang members, and they wanted to be like their daddy. The big homies in the neighborhood, instead of teaching them the right direction, they feeding these children war stories about their fathers that's locked up or their fathers that's deceased, and they looking up to the images of savagery that their fathers was living by. Instead of the big homies teaching the kids, hey man, don't do that. Be this and be that. They teaching them wars. Man, your father was a demon out here, shorty. Your father was a demon. He was out here lighting the whole blocks up. He put fear in everybody's heart. Now you got these young boys idolizing the wrong shit. He trying to be a demon rather than trying to be a scholar. Rather than trying to use his mind to elevate himself and to be a leader and not a follower. You got him being a follower and a crash out dummy behind y'all. That's why I talk about a lot of the shorties, the oldest elder statesmen in the hood. A lot of the elder statesmen sent a lot of the shorties off, and I watched it. A lot of the elder statesmen told us we were supposed to be having sex at 12, 11 years old, and that's what got these young boys being fathers at 14, 15, and all of that, right? You got and listen, I became a father at 18 years old, but I did whatever I did. I was taught the right stuff, you know what I mean? I did whatever, right? But I'm saying, a lot of these kids telling us that ain't on nobody but me, because I knew what I was supposed to be doing and what I wasn't supposed to be doing. But yeah, like you these a lot of the older generation, older elder statesmen in the neighborhood told us, you know, you supposed to be having sex when you 12, 13. Now little shorty got all type of he burning all type of crazy. The old heads telling the kids, yo, man, we was doing this, we was doing that, we was robbing shorty. Now you see these little kids being out here just actively being menaces to society, throwing their whole life away, right? And then when they get locked up, the old heads and the older dudes on the block, man, that's a damn shame, man. Y'all telling them these ignorant stories about their uncles and their fathers and thinking they not gonna gravitate to that. No, right? And I know things start in the household, but when a shorty's father ain't around, the streets become impressionable to a lot of them. You know what I mean? And what's outside becomes impressionable. The older gentleman on the block becomes impressionable. They become impressionable. And so they thinking they supposed to do all these war stories you teaching them. That's why I be looking like, when you know a shorty father in the streets, don't be telling him all these war stories. They get infatuated with that. They want to live in the image of their fathers, that their fathers were menaces. They want to live like that. You know what I mean? And see, I had that advantage. I didn't come from a gang-banging father. My father was a hard-working man. Was out here cable contractor, got down and dirty and was doing labor work. Talking about I'm hanging wire, drilling holes in drywall, all of that type of stuff, doing cable, running cable running cable lines in order to make sure we get into college all right, you know, all together with everything we need. In order to make sure we got everything we need, we go to school. My mama was a hard-working woman. You know what I mean? So I never wanted to live in them images or none of that, because I came from a father that wasn't a street dude. I came from a father that was out here making his money, working hard, take care of his kids, loving on his kids. You feel me? My mama, hard-working woman, disciplinarian, bro. I couldn't never play with my mama like that, dog. I couldn't even bring C's in the house like that for real. My mama, but it blessed me to be able to get an academic scholarship to college because my mom and my father wasn't playing with me like that. You know what I mean? So when I got to school, I got these little cousins looking at me. You know, my young male cousins, I'm trying to show them I'm not your cousin. I wasn't gang affiliated. I wasn't in the streets, none of that. But you know what I mean? I still was trying to show them it was cool to still be a scholar. Because I was prom king at Morgan Park High School, 2011, right? I was Mr. Mississippi Valley State University class of 2015, right? You know what I mean? So I went and got my degrees, and I still was able to, you know, get pretty girls and all that type of stuff and still be cool by being myself. But a lot of these shorties, they scared to be themselves and they being something that they not. And unfortunately, their parents are acting like they okay with it. Y'all know who all these, y'all see these young rapping ass dudes, man. They mamas now all of them got stories about their mama and them seeing them come home with guns, and she was like, oh, it's cool. I'd rather you have it than not be without it. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if you or your shorty wilding out like that, he that in deep, send him away if you can. If you can. But it's just like, a lot of these parents see their kids going down the wrong direction and don't want to put no hand on them. You know what I'm saying? You know your kid high at the mind. Why you letting your shorty be in your household with you, smoking? He smoked out. He 15 years old. He high as hell coming in the house. Now he graduated from weed to pills. He's sipping lean 15, 14. What is going on? And they seeing and you acting oblivious to that. There's no way a kid finna be in my house while I pay bills coming in there high. None of that. I'm not going. I'm not having it. But a lot of these shorties, their parents got a laissez-faire attitude, hands-off attitude, rather than hands-on. And so the streets get a hold to them, and it's over with. In Chicago, Illinois, the streets swallow young black boys whole. If they ain't got their own mind, if they ain't come from good leadership, good parenting, if they don't got the mind to think for themselves, the streets will swallow these young black boys whole to the point of no return. I watch kids I went to school with come in just like me, leave out top gang members. By the time I got to college, they lost their life. By the time I graduated, they lost their life. Or they went to jail taking somebody else's life or trying to take somebody else's life. You know what I mean? Streets ugly out here, man. But these shorties, they high off all these pills, popping them, sipping lean, all of that, and they high. Anytime somebody looking around, they're ready to shoot off and just start shooting. And then go to jail, and there's a lot of wet pillows in jail because they in there crying their eyes out, realizing you threw your life away to try to be tough, to try to live in somebody else's image who also is no longer here on this earth. So it's silly. A lot of these shorties crashing out because of bad parenting, being super impressionable, these crazy drugs they off of. You know what I'm saying? And the streets telling them the wrong ish, including the older generation. Peace.